Do you struggle with consistency in homemaking, cleaning, routines around your house, or do you struggle with simply nagging your kids in order for them to do their chores and contribute to the tidy up of the home? Do you struggle with consistency around exercise and good habits for your health and for your well being? Well, today, my guests are going to help us all on the consistency front, as well as I'm going to be answering your questions about my brand new group coaching experience using the Art of Being a Woman Masterclass. Welcome to the Possibility Mom Live. So consistency is something that I struggle with big time. I have taken the StrengthsFinder assessment and I use it as a tool to help me all the time. And if you're not familiar with this tool, it is essentially out of 34 traits, your natural giftedness, if you will, is ranked. And so there are some things that we have natural abilities with and that we're born with. There are some things that obviously we can learn through courses, training, coaching, and all that jazz. But there are some things that we are just naturally not hardwired to do well. And discipline is my number 34. Discipline, and I think there's literally one called consistency, are literally my number. I think consistency is 32, and my very last StrengthsFinder strength is discipline. And it doesn't mean that you can't become a more disciplined person, obviously, or a more consistent person. I have other strengths that compensate for that fact and allow me to be more disciplined. But discipline for me has always been a challenging thing to learn, and I've had to learn how to do it. It is a skill. And this is especially true when it comes to homemaking and when it comes to exercise, when it comes honestly to any routine that I do not think is fun. I struggle with that aspect. And so today, I really want to talk about this theme of consistency. I've got two incredible guests that I'm bringing on to have this conversation around. And so we're going to jump right into it today. I'm so excited to welcome to the Possibility Mom Live my client, my friend, Tessa Weenink. Tessa, welcome to the Possibility Mom Live. How are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good actually this morning. Yeah, it's been a good morning.
Wonderful. So, for anyone who might not know you, share with us a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Okay, well, how I got here, that would be kind of a long, convoluted story. Well, I am Tessa. I am a dairy farmer in southern Alberta. I have 5 kids, and they are aged 13 down to 22 months, and we homeschool them all. So I don't know how I got here is basically I met Lisa several years ago through a Miracle Morning podcast, I think it was. And I thought, there's no way with my kids, not going to happen. I'm not doing 4 or 5 a.m. mornings, which is interesting being a dairy farmer growing up, enjoying the 5 a.m. milkings with my father. But now my life has completely shifted. And through all of those shifts, I've had to adapt and figure things out. And it's funny you mentioned StrengthsFinder because I'm not sure where discipline or consistency is on mine, but it's not in one of my top 5. However, I do have Futurist as one of my, I think it's my third.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is really what drives my consistency and moving forward in my discipline is just knowing what it could be and then working towards what it could be.
So good. So I brought you on today because I've gotten to know you in a few different contexts. You shared on the first Possibility Mom conference I hosted back in August of 2020, which feels like a lifetime ago when you think about that. You shared your experience of going through the women's school with me. You have gone on to launch your own platform, build a country home, and you have this unique lens or unique perspective that I honestly don't hear often. And this perspective on homemaking is that my perception of you is you truly do not have to nag your children to be involved in the running of your home. So first of all, for everybody listening, number one, is that accurate? Do you actually not have to nag them? And then number two, how in the world did that happen? And share every single secret you can with us, Tessa Weenink.
Okay, number one, it is mostly true. They are still children. I do still need to remind them, and some of them I need to remind more frequently. And I think that that's largely based, you would think it would be based on age, but it's actually more based on their personality. Some kids just naturally need, I have one child who is ridiculously distractible, and I thought it would get better with age, but I need to continually redirect him. But for the most part, they do it without grumbling. So it's still it's still my role. And I have one kid who, I think everybody needs a child like this, who's just naturally organized, I think. Which is a real blessing. And I need to really remind myself not to misuse that feature of him. So that's a fun. I've got somebody, probably my daughter, knocking at my door. She is one that I need to redirect frequently.
If you need to bring her on, do not even worry. But here's the thing. I coach a lot of moms, both in groups and in one-on-one. And I've experienced this challenge personally, as well as with many of the moms I coach. Many moms, and let me know in the comments if this is you as well, seem to struggle with, number one, just having a sense of how to keep their home clean. So just basic routines, like how do you keep your home clean? How often do you clean your bathroom? How often do you clean the kitchen? Like, how do you get your home to a state of clear counters and whatnot? So that's number one. But then number two, how do you involve your children in that pursuit, and maybe even your husband, when it might be clear you're all on very different pages? So this is a challenge for me. This is something that in the last 6 months of my life, I've been really trying to rewire, change the language I use around mess, make it not so personal. For me, I take mess very personally. I'll walk into a room and I'll see a bunch of stuff left out, and my immediate thought is often, why was this left for me to clean up? Just being very honest and transparent. And this is a thing I see in a lot of moms in my world. The not necessarily the same pain point that I have around it, taking it very personally, but feeling constantly burdened by the state of their home, and it's this never ending, journey. So Tessa, why do you think that home care, home routines, home cleaning is something that so many women struggle with?
I was actually thinking about that this morning as I was washing my dishes and looking out. We just built a house last year. So I was looking out at the view out of my new kitchen window thinking, why is it so hard? And I think it has to do with expectations. Either our expectations are too high and we are stressing about the fact that we can never manage or get to those expectations. That gap is too big, right? Another one is maybe our expectations are too low, and therefore we are stressed out about how bad we have. For example, if you think, oh, well, I could be okay just, tidying my floors twice a week instead of every day, but that's not good enough for you, then you're going to be stressed about not meeting your own needs in regard to that. Or maybe our expectations are too low for our children, and we don't know that what we can expect from them. We don't know how much they're capable of, and therefore we are not allowing them to do what they need to do and develop those skills.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you want to bring her on? You can totally bring her on.
I think that might be my 4-year-old. Give me a sec.
So, here's the thing. For me, it is about for me, it's skill. I never, and let me know if this is you as well. I never really learned how to clean, or at least clean at the level of the house I currently have. I don't know, but certainly I had chores. I had to vacuum. I had to put dishes in the dishwasher. I had to, XYZ. I had all kinds of chores as a kid. It's not like it's not like my parents didn't equip me with skills, but it's almost like I had skills for their house, the house I grew up in. Because then what I noticed was then when I went to a new scenario. So for example, lived on my own in residence in university. My room was almost always messy, except for on room inspection day. One of the places I lived in, you had to have a regular room inspection. And so I would just like cram for that. And when we got married, it was very similar. Like when guests were coming over, my house was immaculate, but I had not developed, the skill of, I guess, the routine of putting things away, maybe, or like this ongoing thing. So, anyways, for me, I know it's skill. And I find now in my, I'm 37 years old. I've got 8, soon to be 9 children. I live in a home that is like sort of large-ish. Like there's a lot of opportunity for messes to be made. I remember in the pandemic, that was one of my most sort of challenging things, is that there was just so much foot traffic in my home that, and it was constant. Like it wasn't like there was ever a pause, especially during the pandemic. Like there literally was never a pause. So I had to learn new skills. I remember that was one of the gifts of the pandemic, was that I was by force had to get my kids to learn how to contribute in a more consistent way. And this is one of the things that I find is challenging. A lot of women I speak to, Tessa, say, I'll adopt a new cleaning routine, but it lasts for like 2 days or 1 week. Maybe if they're lucky, like a little bit more than a week. But then something happens, a kid gets sick, or they go on vacation, for example, or not even something like that, like just normal time, the passage of time, and they lose that consistency. So Tessa, what is the secret to consistency? Because my perception of you is you are like all about it. So tell us your secrets.
I think maybe there's 2 parts to this. Is first of all, I want to say that your homemaking skills are actually fine. I mean, it's not that hard to wash a dish. I don't know how to do laundry stains. I mean, that's one skill I don't have. But for the most part, it's not that hard to wash a dish or to pick up some toys. But like you said, one of the skills is learning how to put a system in place that works for your home and your family in your current season. And one of the problems, and as somebody who's researched this is something that I put a lot of time and effort into, because I understand the whole starting a system and then, finding something that looks really amazing online or in a book and starting it, but it doesn't work because it's not what you need. I read a blog post once, and she's talking about how Thursday is her day to clean baseboards. And I thought, people clean baseboards? This is a thing? That was not something that it would, that's where the expectations lie in. Is that was not an expectation that I had of myself. That is not something that, like I said, I didn't even really know people did this unless somebody spilled like purple smoothie on it, which has happened more than once in my home. I didn't think people actually cleaned their baseboards because it just wasn't a priority to me. So I think that's one of the problems with getting systems from someone else instead of developing and designing something that works for your family. And that is one thing that I really, really enjoy. Actually, it's kind of a nerdy thing. I like to set up systems. And now one of my reasons is because I really don't enjoy homemaking. So I want to do the least amount of cleaning possible. And I want to do the least amount personally as possible and be able to delegate as much as possible. So, and also due to needs because of health issues that I have had, is I had to create systems where if mom was down for a day, the kids could run the household. And so at this point, if I am down for whether it be sickness, whether it be with a newborn baby, all of my family has a system that they can follow that works for our home and our family. And they all know what to do to keep reasonably well. It's never going to be quite as good as mom because they're still children and their standards aren't necessarily, actually, that's not true. Sometimes it's better. One of my kids is better at it than I am. But so yeah, creating the systems. And then as for consistency, I have developed a wonderful, wonderful phrase. I am consistently inconsistent.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, I am. It's funny because the biggest thing that everyone says is they want to learn how to be consistent with homemaking. The reality is, I think our perception of consistency is maybe a little bit skewed. In my mind, consistency is not doing it perfectly all the time. Consistency is trying again. Get up, try it again. If at first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again.
I got to repeat that for the people in the back. Okay. So I am consistently inconsistent. That's number one. And that consistency is really about when you fail, you get back up. That's like very interesting and very compelling to me. One of the things I want to highlight about you that I find so interesting. So you've been in my coaching for personal development, and you are also in my coaching for business development and building a brand. And I had recently a 3-day boot camp where I teach people about personal branding. And I'll just never forget, like, your husband was running your dairy farm, like on the other side of where you are currently sitting, everybody. Where Tessa is currently sitting, there's like 100 cows. How many cows is it? Is it
Well, we milk 165, so we have about just over 300 in total, including calves.
There are 300 cows not that far from where Tessa is sitting. So your husband wasn't watching the kids. He was running a dairy farm. And I remember you telling us your children ran the ship. They did, you I'm sure you popped in and out, your husband popped in and out, but they did the meals. They did the cleanup from the meals. They did all the things. And that is, again, one thing that I just find, it's like you have found a way to get your children on the same page. That's like very evident to me. It seems like it's not a battle. And you've shared with me many times some of the scripts that your children say to themselves that obviously you taught them, or you said yourself and they've adopted. So share with us some of the scripts your children have. They're so beautiful and really, for someone like me, very challenging. Because this is not part of my family's culture, but I desire it to be one day. So what are some of the scripts that your children have that you hear yourself saying and them saying around cleaning and order in the home?
Well, probably the biggest one that we have started several years ago. We just built a new home a year ago, but before that, we were living in a falling down old farmhouse. And I kept thinking, why is God continually closing the doors to a bigger and more beautiful home? I was so sick of living in a 100-year-old falling down farmhouse. And then I thought, if I am not capable, if my family and I are not capable of caring for this home, what makes us think we'll be capable of caring for something bigger and more beautiful? So what I started to at that point kind of put into my kids' mind is we are so blessed to have this home, and we show our gratitude to God by caring for it.
Mm.
And I think that moment right there, learning to be grateful for what we had, even if, like I said, I mean, it was it wasn't even like a construction built. It was a falling down old farmhouse. But shifting our attitudes from grumbling to gratitude probably made the biggest difference. That was one big one. Another one was, it kind of came up in my kids' morning memory verses. Because we homeschool, I try to do like a morning time with my kids, like a morning devotion where we memorize verses. One of them is Colossians 3, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not human masters. And I would tell my kids, or mom. So whatever you're doing, you're not working for mom. You're working for the Lord. And then it's funny because we just recently tagged on the second verse of that. And it says, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward, it is the Lord Christ you are serving. And I feel like we have gotten our reward, and it's not the beautiful house. I mean, yes, that's an amazing blessing from him. But the reward really through this process of shifting that family culture to gratitude and teamwork was we actually have a really amazing home environment, and we love to be here. Even when things are in complete disarray, I have my moments of stress, right? My washer was broken for a couple of weeks. So I'm like, that's a lot of laundry to catch up on. But because of that attitude shift, it's funny because my 10-year-old says to me, Mom, you don't need to do it all right now. Just fold 10 pieces. And I'm thinking, if my kids can call me out in my stressful moments, my 13-year-old said to me yesterday morning as I was looking at all the dishes on the counter, thinking, I have so much like online work to do to prepare for this challenge next week. He says, Mom, attitude is everything.
Oh my gosh. Bless
like, you're right. I'm sorry.
Bless those children. Bless those children. I have a quick story. I was so frustrated because one of my small kids broke something very costly and very beautiful and very dear to me. And I was like sitting on my front porch crying, and my 10-year-old daughter comes outside and she's like, Mommy, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I was like, oh, I know, I'm just so frustrated because, like sometimes my things aren't respected. I'm going on and on and on. And bless her heart, my daughter Evelyn, she turns to me and she said, that's okay, Mommy. In heaven, we won't have any stuff. And so you won't ever feel this pain there. And now I just repeat that to myself anytime I get frustrated about mess, I'm just always like, well, in heaven I won't have any stuff, so it's like no big deal. But the thing that again I find so interesting and compelling about you is that this is truly a part of your family's culture. This is not just like I read something on the internet and I did it for a day. It's like your whole family has adopted this attitude and this beautiful outlook on homemaking and cleaning and routines where they actually do things without you having to consistently nag them or what have you. So you have developed something that I am so excited to share with my audience. The link is below in the description. What are you doing next week to help all of us over here who struggle with consistency in the home?
I am running a 5-day challenge. There will be a Facebook group where I'm going to be going live for a little bit. There will be some fun worksheets to help you figure out your own desires for what kind of family culture you want to have. And again, it comes down to you need something that's specific to you, that's important to you. So we're going to talk about things like figuring out exactly what kind of feeling and what kind of memories you want to make in your home, figuring out exactly how you can create these from like just checklists into habits. So we'll talk a little bit about developing homemaking habits that work for you in a way that's simplified enough for even toddlers to follow.
Look at your cute little toddler. Oh, yeah. I love her so much.
Yeah, and you can't see my other toddler. He's putting dishes away behind the cabinet.
Look,
there's my monkeys.
Cute kids. Oh my gosh, I love them so much.
And you want to know the funny thing is in these, this is I'll give you one of my laundry hacks, is my kids wear dirty clothes. They were all playing out in the dirt. If you saw my Instagram stories yesterday, you'll see how dirty my daughter gets in like 20 minutes outside. It's crazy, but they were all dirty and way less laundry. And I'm going to talk specifically also about how to talk to your kids to encourage cooperation instead of fighting, because it sucks to fight with our kids. Like, I don't know, there's no fancy way to say it, but I hate fighting with my kids. I love them dearly. And I want to, you know, that moment when you're holding your baby in your arms and you're like, you are amazing and I adore you. And now I've got my 13-year-old and he's taller than me officially. He weighs more than I did when I got married. And I'm looking at him and I still want to think, I adore you. And I appreciate your contribution. So to maintain that love and respect for your kids, and then they can maintain it for you as well, because we're not designed to be fighting with our kids. And I'm a big believer in we are called to prepare them for life. Like you talked about, you know how to wash a dish and you know how to make a bed, but you didn't know how to run a home. It is a very different skill set. And it's funny because I have 4 sons and then my daughter. Most people wouldn't think teaching sons homemaking skills, yet they're going to have a home to run at some point. And if they are able to support their future spouses in that role in whatever capacity, if they are even able to appreciate the role that their spouse plays within whatever family dynamic they end up having, I think we do our kids a huge disservice by not teaching them these skills.
I love it. I love it so much. I want to encourage everybody to go to the link in the description below, or if you're listening to this on podcast, go to the show notes and grab the link to Tessa's challenge. It starts next Monday, August 9th. I will be in there. I will be ferociously, is that a word, taking notes. Like, I just cannot wait to learn everything from you on consistency in homemaking. Tessa, where can people go to learn more about you and about the challenge?
You can go to my website is buildacountryhome.com/5-day challenge. You can find that page that Lisa pulled up there. You can also follow me on Instagram. I'm pretty active on Instagram at Build a Country Home. And I like to share, you know, my kids and my chickens and my cows and my stories. If you ever want to see some farm animals, we're getting quite the menagerie. My son, just told me he wants to get pigs and horses, and we'll see what happens over the next few years. But that's where you can find me most.
so much. Tessa, thank you so much for being here. And I'm just so excited for this next chapter of your journey. Thank you,
Thanks, Lisa.
Tessa. And I love the chat. We've got Yashi from Mind of Yash is already signed up for the challenge. And hello to Flavia. Hi, everybody who's watching live and on the replay. All right. So from consistency in homemaking, I want to pivot, but it's the same kind of skills, to consistency in health for our lives. Now, I don't know about you, but for many years, health was the thing that I put completely on the back burner. Give me a big amen in the comments if this is you as a busy mom. And when I say I put health on the back burner, I mean like the non-existent burner. Like I'm talking like, as I shared, I have natural strengths that lead me toward achievement. So it's actually very easy for me, especially in my early years of being a mom, very easy for me to sort of power through things. Just like I could stay up late and then wake up early. I could, I don't know, via adrenaline. I used to joke all the time, I am powered by coffee and lipstick. Like that was just sort of my thing. People would ask me, how do you do it all? You get so much done in a day. And I'm always like, coffee and lipstick, coffee and lipstick. Now, that lasted me a couple of years. Like I'm talking my 20s, like so I became a mom at 25. I'm talking like that was sustainable for a few years. I don't know what happened to me in my 30s. Like obviously there's some natural things there with hormone and age and just time, but definitely 100%. Like I am now 37 years old, pregnant for the 9th time. And I've just noticed that this whole powering through business, like no longer applicable, and nor should it be applicable to anybody. So I am so delighted to bring on to the Possibility Mom, Michelle from I Help Moms, and we are going to talk all about how to be more consistent with our exercise and our health.
I'm so excited.
All right, Michelle. I have so many things I want to talk about with you, but the very first thing that we need to talk about right this second is the CrossFit Games. So I don't know, Michelle, if you know this about me. Actually, many people, I don't really talk about this as often. I am obsessed with CrossFit. I didn't know what CrossFit was up until a year ago, August 2020. I started working with a trainer who was trained. She used to have or work in a gym, a CrossFit gym. And she was like, oh yeah, we're going to do like CrossFit style workouts. And I was like, cool. What is that? I had no idea. The CrossFit kind of just like fell into this vernacular or this little bag of words in my brain with like P90X, F50, like all these different words, all these different acronyms. I was like, oh yeah, CrossFit belongs there with like hardcore people, not me. I was like, give me my booty ballet class. Like I just, CrossFit was not something that ever entered my brain. Doing the workouts with her, I got introduced to this vernacular and to this incredible culture that I am now completely obsessed with. And I have watched all of the CrossFit Games, and every documentary that exists. For anyone who's not familiar, CrossFit is simply a style of exercise. Your husband just competed in the CrossFit Games. So number one, for people who might not be familiar with CrossFit, like what is it? Why are you so into it? And number two, how was the CrossFit Games?
I can only say thank you, God, for that experience. It leaves me speechless still to be around thousands of people, regular people that prioritize health, prioritize fitness, prioritize being a vessel so that they can serve the world, and just encouraging others to live life at that same high level of intensity, of loving fitness. And it was just electric. You and I have both done and been to some very cool events, whether it's Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, conferences, female empowerment. I'm telling you, watching moms, new moms like Annie Thorsdottir and Ariel Lowen, these women had just had babies a year ago. Annie finished 3rd on the podium. I mean, these women are so strong. They're so gracious. They're so just, when they say strong is sexy, that's where I'm at in my life. My goodness gracious. I just am humbled that we were even at that event.
Okay, so wait, your husband competed, and what age group did he compete in?
Yep, so 40 to 44.
And how did he do?
It was awesome. He got out of the gate hot, 4.5 miles, which is, is just over that comfort zone, finishing all the miles in about 5 minutes. He was cruising and finished third to start everything off, and then ended up finishing 14th in the whole world out of 20,000 people that were competing. So it was an amazing event. And most of all, Lisa, he just had fun. At this stage in our lives, I feel like competition is more achievement based, right? It's not so much you versus me, it's us together and what can we do? And that's what CrossFit is all about. It's about hardworking people that want to live healthy lives and have personal achievement, no competition among one another, just good hard work. So it was awesome.
So you and your husband, right? Does your husband work in the gym with you as well?
My husband actually is a chiropractor. So we own 3 chiropractic offices. He's also a coach. And then I Help Moms, and together we own the gym. So
Right.
It is a fun, busy life.
Oh my gosh. And so how long ago did you open your gym?
We opened our gym 3 years ago. We actually just had our birthday last week.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy gym. Happy box birthday. All these
Yes, I
I
love
know all
that.
these terms now in CrossFit that I like. It's like a secret language sometimes. And so again, I think fitness for moms is similar to what I was talking about with Tessa. It can be, at least, where it can feel like an insurmountable task. How am I supposed to fit fitness in my life when I can barely keep my house clean?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to fit fitness in my life when I feel like I am so overwhelmed every day? Or how am I supposed to fit fitness in my life when at the end of the day, I am so tired, all I want to do is like watch Netflix and drink wine in my bed? So what encouragement do you have for moms who feel like there is just simply no, not even like time? I mean, there is an issue of time, but it's like capacity. Like there is no way I could picture myself exerting myself in any other area. What's the encouragement you would give a mom who might feel that way?
Well, first of all, at I Help Moms, we always want to be authentic. I have 3 girls. I've been there. I know what that feels like when you're breastfeeding late into the night or feeding and rocking and you're exhausted and you wake up tired and you're like, how on earth are these moms perfectly on Instagram, getting everything done, going to the gym, their house is clean? That's not me. I want to first be really realistic. When my kids were little, I took a time out. We've got to be gentle on ourselves. Do what you can do. I was fortunate enough to meet up with a fitness trainer named Kim Goodman, and she opened Mommy Size Fitness, and it was a prenatal specialty class. The best thing that came out of this last year, we have tons of mommy fitness trainers that have online programs for you now. They focus on your abdominal wall, making sure you're safe, making sure you're not squatting, keeping care of the pelvis. So these moms are awesome trainers, and you can do it right online. But as far as mindset, Lisa, I think mindset is one of the most important things in life. And there's 2 keys that I would tell moms. One, truly, your health is your greatest wealth. I love what Lisa talks about. We can't take any of this stuff with us when we go from this earth. And our health, our vessel, our body is what enables us to serve our family, serve our partners, serve our communities. So we've got to take care of ourselves. And that leads me into the next step and tip that I have is what really matters to you, right? It's figuring out if you have that newborn and you are tired and you are working like Lisa and I are, maybe fitness isn't on the table right now and you're taking a walk, you're pushing that stroller, you're just relaxing with some yoga. That is great. And that's where you are right now. And when I was in that subset, rocking in the rocker, scrolling Instagram, wishing I could somehow get into the gym, you know what? I just had to say and put it out there. Life isn't always going to be like it is right now. I'm going to reach a point where I get a break, I get a breather. I can either ask a parent to help me, ask a friend to babysit, carve out time and have that conversation with my partner saying, I need an hour and 10 minutes for me to get to the gym. Sometimes it was 5 a.m. when the kids were really little and we were hustling with all of our businesses. Right now, I've carved out noon. That's when I take my work break. My kids are in preschool. So always keeping that mindset that our health is our greatest wealth and you've got to take care of yourself to serve everyone else. And then figuring out what do you really want and how can you make that happen?
I love that so much. Yeah, that was the big like game changer for me. Like, what do I really want? And I just noticed, I was like, I don't want how I feel right now. Like the sort of being sluggish, feeling kind of like out of breath. There was where I used to live in Toronto, the Toronto Zoo has a really big hill. And I remember it was the only pathway to the penguins. And the penguins are my favorite part of the Toronto Zoo. And I just remember, let me know, my fellow Torontonians, any Torontonians watching this, let me know if you know this hill. And I remember, we would go every summer, or not even, like I had a membership, so we would go frequently to the zoo. And I remember the first time I climbed this hill where I was panting and sweating. Like, I just remember being like, I want to be able to climb this hill, because if I want to see the penguins every time I come here, like, I want this to be like enjoyable and not feel like I'm dying and then feel like, oh, I got to go home, I got to sit down or whatever. And so I remember making that a bit of a goal for me. I want to be able to just do this hill, which wasn't even that steep. It just was a bit of a walk. I want to be able to do this hill well. But here's something I really want to unpack with you, that not that it's contrary to what you're saying, and I don't want anybody to like confuse what I'm about to say. But this is one of the things that has been very powerful for me with CrossFit. And I will be forever, ever, ever grateful to my coach, Jessica Copeland, for introducing me to this concept. And it's the concept of pushing beyond what you think you're capable of.
Yeah.
This is this is a core principle, I would say, in a lot of fitness, but I see this a lot in CrossFit. Like it's just one more rep, or it's, you can do anything for 30 seconds, or just, there's many things in the CrossFit sort of community or mindset. So here's the question I want to ask you, because the word seasons is a tricky word for me.
Yeah.
I find it almost a little bit of a trigger, being honest, because I'm not denying, of course, that there are seasons. Of course, when you are postpartum, there is a season where physically you literally just birth a child. There's all kinds of things going on down there.
Yeah.
You physically do need to rest. You might be, like, for example, my first trimester of this pregnancy, I was so nauseous and tired. Like, it was just, I have never experienced that in all 9 of my pregnancies. I have never been this nauseous and tired. But I still got up at 6 a.m. to meet my trainer. And I'm not saying this for a stitch of like, oh, look how cool I am. I'm saying this because, and there were times I canceled. So everybody, don't get mad at what I'm saying here. There were a few times in my first 12 weeks of pregnancy where I would text her at 5:45 in the morning and be like, listen, I did not sleep well. I don't feel well. And she'd be like, go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm like, interested to hear your perspective on. It's like, when do you know it's a season that you do need to just like rest?
Sure.
But when does that become, and I hate to say it, but I'm just going to say it, when does that become an excuse?
Yeah. I love this.
So when does it become like, no, you're actually ready.
Yeah.
You're actually could completely do it. But now we're getting into more maybe skill, or we're getting into mindset.
Yeah.
So how do you know the difference? What are your thoughts on what I just shared?
I think this is an interesting thing to unpack, because we've got a lot of women across a lot of variety of thought processes, right? So, I would, in my opinion, I can only say from my experience, is that first bit when you're in the 4th trimester, life is exhausting. You've got a newborn. You're still healing. I think that is a season of gentleness for yourself, for your mental wellness, your physical well-being, your emotional wellness, your body, and your bonding. So that is where I leave that part of that. Now, let's fast forward. We're feeling better. We're healing up. Baby's sleeping a little bit more. Baby's feeding consistently. Now we take a look at ourselves. And this is what is so cool and misunderstood about CrossFit. CrossFit is like finding your best girlfriends. CrossFit is like an awesome first date where you're like, oh my gosh, that energy was undeniable. Every box, that's what we call our gyms, has a different energy. We have like 9 boxes in just our little city, and we're all friends and we all bring something different. Some of them are older moms who run them, and they're just a little bit more out of the baby stage, more veteran, like have more time on their hands. Some of them are run by, athletes, and they're very hardcore. Our gym's all family because that's what we're all about. So keep searching for that perfect date. Do not give up on your first time. Whether you're walking into F45, whether you're walking into Orange Theory, I always say, try 3 to 4 gyms. You've got to find that place. But Lisa, here's the coolest part that I have found. My husband did CrossFit for quite a few years. And I used to be like, what on earth are you doing? Where are you at? It says a 12-minute workout and you're gone for an hour and a half. I don't get it. And so I just didn't understand the mindset of what CrossFit is about. And then we opened our own gym, and I found friends like I have never found before, because you're in this realm of people that love hard work. We have people come in that have to lose a lot of weight. We have very unhappy mommies coming to us that are not happy in life. We have couples coming into us that are on the verge of divorce. We have people struggling with addictions, you name it. CrossFit is for those people that want a place where they matter, where hard work is what matters. You can't buy yourself in. You can't wiggle your way in. The only way through is hard work. So you're working with people who have that same sense of achievement. Now, my husband's a CrossFit competitor. I am not. I do ring rows. He does muscle ups. I do a 15-pound bar. He's doing 185-pound whatevers, right? So it's for everyone. And the biggest thing is to just being open, like I said in the beginning, to finding that great date, that great energy, that great mojo. Because one thing I have found out the hard way, unfortunately, you deserve 1 hour a day, more than that even, but at least 1 hour a day for yourself. We run multiple businesses. We have 3 very busy kids. And every day from noon to 1 o'clock, I carve out and find a way that I'm going to get to that gym, be consistent. That's what Lisa's talking about. And I'll get into 3 tips about consistency in a minute, and make time for myself. And what has arisen from that is I am happy. I am healthy. My endorphins are flowing. I feel great. I get to see my friends. So it's like a double great thing in my life, because I get that socialization and I get a workout in. Bonus. It's awesome. So whatever type of workout you do, Lisa, to go back to your original question, carve out time for yourself and watch your life blossom, because you are taking care of yourself so that you can serve and do everything you want to in life.
I love it so much. Who watches your kids, or what do you do with your kids when you have that hour?
Yeah, it's a great question. I put my kids in camps. I put my kids, they did a lot of camps this summer, and then they're all in school. And like right now, when I wanted to carve out time for you, Lisa, and I wanted to get my workout in, I have a teen babysitter that comes over, and she's got the kids out to lunch. And that's also something we should probably unpack on another show, is I let that mom guilt fall off my shoulders, because these couple hours to myself, I'm not getting my nails done. I budget appropriately for that babysitter. And that's just where I prioritize my money and my time.
The thing that I think people don't realize, and this was 100% me, was the energy that's actually gained. I think 100% this was me. I was like, I don't have any more energy to spare. So the thought of like running, thought of exerting myself was like, I have no more energy to draw from. How on earth could I exert that? Yeah. But I think the thing for me that's been the biggest game changer is the energy that it actually provides, the endorphins, the strength, the like, I can climb the hill, I can, whatever, all the things. Okay, so what are your consistency tips? Tell us.
Yes. So my consistency tips are, number 1, we live in a microwave society, easily said. Everyone thinks they should just get that business going and they're an instant 1 million, social media fan followers, whether it's their kids are got to be perfect and you're going to pop them out and everything's going to go just the way you want it to go. Everyone wants that microwave society easy path. But the truth is, nothing worth it in life is ever easy. The things that we work for consistently are often, and more often than not, the things that really matter in our life. So that's my tip number one, is that the things that matter in life aren't easy and they take consistency to get. Now, a lot of times when we're parenting, we talk about that our kids need structure, but guess what? We do too.
Mhm.
Structure can really decrease the stress in our life. I don't have that. It was always a bad feeling for me when the day would slip by me and it'd be 7 at night. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not get my workout done. I felt like something was missed for me, for my soul as a mom and as a woman. I need an hour for myself to reboot, rejuvenate, and be the best parent, mom, wife, friend that I can be. And so just really making sure that we have consistency. And I know Lisa and I did an awesome show on the calendar and making sure that you schedule that time for yourself. And then finally, one of the biggest things that I've seen is when moms get in that consistent pattern of living a healthy lifestyle, of making sure they fit in those workouts, whatever it looks like for you, yoga, CrossFit, F45, Orange Theory, whatever makes you happy, is that when you take that week vacation, when maybe work is super busy and you can't fit in that workout, guess what? You are snapping back so fast because your metabolism is already used to that type of high energy exercise. So when you do get back on that treadmill, when you do go to that run, when you start lifting, your body's like, oh yeah, I got this. And then you snap back even faster. So those are the three keys to consistency, is that nothing in life is ever easy. And it's not worth it if it is. So we got to build in consistency. Just like kids, it's good for moms to have consistency in our life too, to decrease that stress and create more peace in our life. And then number three on consistency is that it's easier to snap back and get to where we want to go. Lisa talks about achievement, and achievement mindset is not me against Lisa or Lisa against me. It's me working for the best me.
And that's, I think, if we can all just let that be the reason, like I'm putting, of course, looking good, feeling good. Those are all great byproducts.
Yeah.
Like the vanity aspect of some of this stuff is just,
Sure.
It's a little bit of a perk. But if we can see it as truly an investment in ourselves, and that we are worth this investment, and that it's kind of like, not that I want to equate the two, but they are similar. Like, if I don't pray, there's a certain grace and energy and thing in my life, like source of power, that is not present.
Yeah.
If I don't exercise, it's very similar. There's a source of physical energy that is not present. And the two of those things are necessary for me to be the kind of wife and mom I desire to be.
Yeah.
And it's just like necessary. Like physical health is and not finite, but I mean, if you do, there's certain, like, if you just give your body fat and sugar, it's inevitable what will happen most of the time. There's very few people that I know who can have a horrible diet and then not have consequences later. So I just love what you do. You are on the other coast of Florida for me, but I would love to come and work out with my family, my kids. That's the other thing, real quick before we go. We made a home gym in my garage, and to be honest, it's just convenience. We live very far away from a CrossFit gym, so it just was not. My husband was going, but it was just a bit unsustainable. It was like a 45-minute drive. So we just were like, hey, we can do all the same things in our home, and we happen to have a trainer, so like, let's just do it. The impact on my children has been phenomenal. They get in the gym, they get on the rower, they do all these tricks, they spin the cat on the rings, they do all these things that I kind of forgot about this as a byproduct. When our children see ourselves be healthy, that plants an image, that plants a seed of this is worth pursuing. That I think is a very valuable gift. Oh my gosh, Michelle, I could talk to you all day long. Where can people go to learn more about you and I Help Moms?
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. Well, in closing, I want to give you guys a little secret tip here that I see as the owner of a gym. And I see relationships saved because both partners are raising those endorphins. And a lot of times, 80% of the time, it's the mommy that comes in and the daddy's like, why on earth is she so happy and so fulfilled? This is a totally different woman that I just saw. like a month ago. And then the husband or daddy joins, and both of their lives just are so blessed with that fitness, that health, that happiness. And also, another secret is that friendships bloom that you would never, ever otherwise have because you're working out together, and there's just like beautiful synergy that happens between women when you're working hard together, not in competition, but in encouragement. And then the third thing that I see that I think is incredible is I see these little faces peeking through the window watching mommy work out. And these little girls are getting confidence that can be found nowhere else because they're saying, my mom is making time for herself. My family is living a healthy life and role modeling that. And those girls now are coming to our CrossFit Kids classes. And it is the coolest thing to see all of these boys and girls at their age understanding that your health is your greatest wealth. So those are my owner's secrets that I usually see happening across the gym, and brings me so much joy to see people living their best lives. Now, to your question, sorry, I had to give you a little segue there. I am on I Hope Moms, and that's my Instagram. That's our website. We are launching a brand new website, and we're holding our Yes We Can Moms conference. I read Lisa's book, The Possibility Mom. It totally inspired me, and I was like, man, I want to get around other moms that are growth mindset oriented, that are achievers, that are motivated, that want to be a great mom, a great partner, great at their own life. And so we created Yes We Can Moms Conference. Think Tony Robbins for mommies. And we just come and just fulfill each other's cup and really lift one another up. We talk business, we talk housekeeping, we talk organization, calendars. You know it. We are bringing you the top speakers. Elena Cardone is going to be our keynote speaker this year. We are so excited. And so we just have incredible panels of moms, just like you and I, just like all of those moms wanting to be the best that they can be. And it is going to bring an energy on January 15th at the W in Fort Lauderdale. So everyone's invited, ihopemoms.com.
I love it. I am again having a baby.
I know.
I am again having a baby at your conference. I'll never forget you honored me with the invitation to come and speak at your first or on 2 years ago, or 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I was like, yes, 100%. And then you were like, wait a minute. You were like,
You are having a baby.
I had no clue. And again, I'm having a baby on the week of your conference. So, I mean, we'll see. You never know. If I can make it there, I'm going to make it there. But I really encourage everybody to go and check out I Help Moms, and just take this. It really is just take the first step. Just take the first step. You can do it. Yes, we can, moms. All righty. Thank you, Michelle, so much. It's always
Thanks, Lisa. Many blessings.
I love it. Friends, in the time remaining, I want to share with you, if you would like to grow in these skills, okay? So we've talked homemaking, we've talked fitness. There is a skill set component and a mindset component to everything. But the final thing that I think really needs to be emphasized in this conversation is that all of this, especially for us Catholic and Christian women, must be done with the unique will of God for your unique life in mind. And this week, I launched something really exciting that I just want to draw your attention to. And again, we have put the link in the show notes and in the description of this video. And it is something that I am so excited. I just have felt this call in my heart to make many of the things I've learned from the secular personal development world, from my experience as a coach, and really bring in a lens of my Catholic faith. And so for, many of you know, I'm a strategist in the women's school, and I have led this program for now over 100 women in almost every single continent, which is so, so cool. I just need to Antarctica. I'm kidding. There's a couple other continents, but almost every single continent I have journeyed with a woman in this amazing program. But what I've decided this time around to do is ensure that this part is included. As we read in the Catechism of the Catholic Church 27, the desire for God is written in the human heart because man is created by God and for God, and God never ceases to draw man to himself. Only in God will he find the truth and happiness he never stops searching for. At the heart of it, I can give you, or any other personal development guru or teacher can give you, all the mindset, all the skill training, all the scripts. But if you don't understand God's unique call for your life, if you don't understand what it means to discern, this is such an important word. And I think it's why I'm triggered by the word seasons. Because if you define season by something that, like, you know, and I'm not saying don't listen to experts, okay, don't misunderstand me, but if you define season by the way someone else defines season, you might be missing out on what God wants for your season. And this could go either way. I shared recently in a webinar this week that really unpacked all of this and really connects the dots between God's will for your life, how to discern God's will for your life, and then what does this look like in action, in a recent webinar I did earlier this week, introducing this brand new lens that I'm bringing, this twist that I'm bringing to the Art of Being a Woman Masterclass this time. And I want to invite you to watch the replay for the webinar. The link is in the show notes or in the description below this video, because I unpack exactly this, that it is my desire to equip Catholic moms to find true intimacy with God, understand his will for their life, and then give them the skill training in order to carry this out in the modern world so that they may become the women God created them to be and help their children do the same. So what I'm doing this time around is combining, there's Tessa, is combining the Art of Being a Woman, which is a 22 module course, or excuse me, 22 lesson course covering concepts like mind management, designing your legacy, organizing your home, preparing systems and routines, very practical life and mindset skills, with two incredible Catholic resources. The first one is Catholic Spiritual Formation from Leah Darrow. Leah Darrow is my beautiful friend and colleague, and she has taken what she has learned in her Masters of Theology program from the Augustine Institute and connected the dots of most of the women's school lessons with scripture, with the catechism, with the saints, teachings of the saints and early church fathers. She has made these connection points, and for women's school lesson, or for almost all the women's school lessons, she has provided Catholic supplementary material. And that is something you're going to get this time around in my women's school experience. You're also going to get Catholic mindset coaching from my mindset coach, Erin Ingold, and her husband, Matt Ingold. And you might remember her episode here on the Possibility Mom Live. We can link that episode in the show notes as well. She is the one who has changed my life incredibly, and I would not be the coach I am today. I would not be rolling out these brand new offerings without what I have learned from her and from Matt on thoughts. There are a lot of places that you can learn mindset work, but to learn it with this authentic understanding of the Catholic anthropology, to learn it in a way that is completely in line with what the Catholic Church teaches in mindset. It is rich, it is fulfilling, and naturally, us as Christians, we should be wary about where we're getting information, because we don't want to, be led astray. And so for me, it has just been this incredible, almost floodgate, I want to say, of this additional wealth. And it has completely changed my life. So what I want to do right now is answer some of the questions that people have been asking me, and these are all also right here on my website. This link right here is in the show notes and in the description below this video. And I want to tackle some of the questions that I have been getting. And if you have any questions specifically um, about this offering, please feel free to put them in the chat. Thanks, Catholic Marathon Mom, for your encouragement that this is totally different from everything out there. I really do believe it is. Okay, so the first question that I have got, and if we're able to put these in the banners, that would be awesome. The first question is, who is this for? So the Women's School is designed for anyone who is 18 years old and up. It is designed for the Women's School by January Donovan. Is designed for all. But this time around for me, I have really created this for Catholic mamas who are seeking that formation and mindset training uniquely in an authentically Catholic context. So that is the first thing. Now, I've been getting this question quite a bit via my DMs. I am not Catholic, but I like the sound of this. Am I welcome to join? Absolutely. The answer to that one is 100%. If you are open to these ideas, if you are open to involving God in his will for your life, if you are open to the concept of discernment and ensuring that everything you are doing is 100% in line with what he wants for life, this is for you. All right, another question that I've been getting quite a bit in my Instagram DMs is this a self-paced program or is this live? And so the answer to that is that it's a combination of the two. There is a live component that is occur with me on a bi-weekly basis in a medium to large size group. It's probably going to end up being about 20 to 30 women for each group. And that is going to be an opportunity where we will have smaller breakout rooms, and that is part of the live component. There is also going to be weekly office hours with me, where once a week you're able to come in and in a smaller group setting, get answered any questions you might have about the content or simply anything you might be struggling with in life. But then the majority of the content is self-paced. So you can go through the Art of Being a Woman masterclass in a self-paced manner, or you can do it as per this schedule that I'm going to outline. Basically, every bi-weekly, we're going to be discussing specific lessons every time. But all of Leah Darrow's content is going to be largely self-paced. There will be a live element with her and I to kick things off, but her content is completely self-paced. And then the Metanoia Catholic content is completely self-paced. They like to describe it, or I've heard them describe it like it's like Netflix. Like you could binge it all in one day. They continue to, it is a membership program that you're going to gain access to for 6 months. So they are constantly updating it. It's the kind of bank of knowledge where you can just listen whenever you want. So when is the live component is another question that I have been getting. And essentially you have got an option to join me 9 a.m. East or 9 p.m. East on Mondays starting August 16. So 9 a.m. East or 9 p.m. East starting August 16. And my windows for office hours are going to be held Mondays at 12 p.m. Eastern. So it's all Mondays. It's women's school, coaching, mindset, Catholic resources, all on Mondays. Alrighty. The next question is, what is the time commitment? And this is a great question because I know so many of you are busy mamas. And the time commitment, I'm just going to be really honest, is whatever you want to make of it. And of course, you are going to get in it what you put out of it, rather what you put in. Now, to be very simple, I'll be honest, you're looking at least, the Women's School is at least 1 hour of video a week with, I would approximate about 1 hour of reflection. Leodaro's content is about 5 hours total, spread out over the entire, 6 month experience. Metanoia Catholic is very at your own pace. They have an entire bank of content that they are consistently adding to. So of course, you can go back at any time and listen to anything. But what I really like to encourage people to think about is that you are going to get out of this experience what you put in. And so think of it like the same way if you were to do a course somewhere else, the same way that if you were to do a workshop, or go away for a retreat, it's that same investment in yourself that will pay huge, huge, huge dividends. Okay, what is the financial investment for this particular experience? The financial investment is 14. Oh my gosh, sorry guys, hold on. What is the financial investment? The financial investment is $14.97 paid in full, which gives you access to over 7,000. It is $7,000 of content and resources. One of the things I didn't touch on earlier is you also get access to my your calendar program, which will help you make time. If you struggle with the idea of how am I going to make time for this? Oh my word, you get a program in it to teach you how to do that. And I also have the option to spread out the payment into monthly payments of $249 over 7 months. Now, I have to tell you an incredible story. I have an incredible story of a mom who I had invited into this opportunity many times. And she just was kind of she was always very gracious, but it was just like, this is not the time. This is not the time. There were babies. There were all kinds of things that happened to her. This is not the time. And it was so interesting. She messaged me. She was like, Lisa, I think it's the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. I would love it so much. So she went and signed up, and she shared this with me via DM. She turned to her husband and was like, can we really afford this? This particular mama is in Canada, so the exchange rate is quite a bit, which I appreciate. Can we really afford this? And he was like, we will figure this out. It's just so clear. The husband was like, it is so clear that this is the time for you to do this right now. So she hit pay, paid in full. A few hours later, somehow they discovered a savings account that they had both forgotten about that had $3,000 Canadian in it, which is, I'm pretty sure, more than enough to cover the cost of the program. And she messaged me immediately and she was like, do you see, when you have faith, the Lord provides? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I appreciate it as an investment, but this is an investment for your life and for your legacy. I cannot go on and on about it enough. And then the final question I want to answer today is, why have you decided to add a more Catholic element? This is new for you, right? Are you trained in this? And here's the heart of it, honestly, for me, is that number one, I want you to watch the replay. In the replay of my webinar, which you can find in the description, I unpack this in greater detail. But I have just felt it so much on my heart to give a truly, what I would say, complete experience. Because again, like that piece that I shared earlier, we are created by God and for God. We are created by God and for God. And this is something that I ran from. This is something that I kind of I let him into my life in lots of areas, but I'm like, not here. I'm not going to let you into my life in this area, which was my career. And it suffered. You all know my story. You all know my pre-minivan meltdown story. I put all of my worth and my value in what I did for work. And when I look back on the story now, it's because I did not for a single second invite God into that area of my life with white knuckle death grip. I held on to that for dear life. So, am I trained in this? While I have no theology degree of any kind, I have a fashion communications Bachelor of Design from good old Ryerson University in Toronto. What I've done is teamed up with people who have this training. Leah Darrow with her Master's of Theology from Augustine Institute. Erin Ingold has a theology degree from Franciscan University. Actually, January Donovan also has her degree from Franciscan. I've teamed up with people who have this knowledge, and I ended up taking Metanoia Catholic's Purgative Way coaching program, which is specifically designed for Catholic coaches so that I could coach as a Catholic coach in a very authentic way. So if this is interesting to you, if you want to have this truly what I call complete experience, I want to invite you to consider joining me. Click the link right below this video. Feel free to send me a DM on Instagram if you have further questions. Army has a great question here. Is there a separate upgrade? There will be. Army, give me some time and we will be putting together for anyone who is an existing women's school client of mine. Or if you are just interested in this and you've done women's school before, potentially, this is definitely something that we will be making available, and just allow me a little bit of time to organize that. All right, friends. I'm so grateful to do this work. I'm so grateful to be here. If the skill of consistency is something that you are seeking, check out what Tessa is doing on Monday. Check out what Michelle is doing on I Help Moms. And the final thing I want to share is that grace builds upon nature. This is the thing that we cannot forget. And the thing that I think I was reluctant to talk about because I felt somehow ill-equipped or untrained, but it's the reality. We will get infused grace, which will supercharge everything we do in the natural world. And we can't forget about that part. We can't close off God to like certain parts of our life, because when we do, it doesn't work. And when we allow him in, you become the person you're meant to be. All right. Have a great day, and we will see you on the next one.